So this is it. I've been hesitant to start shooting these vlogs. I don't know why, but I'll go ahead and kick this off. This is kind of what we're looking at right now. Can't really tell, I'm sure. I'm standing on the backside of the camper outside, and it is snowing. We're expecting maybe up to 6 inches the last time I looked, and blizzard warnings, strong winds up to 50 miles an hour, and it is cold out here. We've got everything kind of wrapped up, so fingers crossed that nothing freezes up and we stay good. But that wind doesn't feel like it's going to be a tough battle. So that's the first night, something like this. So we'll see how it goes. So today was the day that we were originally going to, we were kind of scheduled or planning to leave to start our trip. And these are the conditions that we're looking at. I'll kind of turn around here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. So it is a blizzard, and we've got winds at gusting at probably 40 miles an hour right now. Pretty cold. Kat thought it would be a good idea to kind of show some of the stuff we've done to keep pipes from freezing and to stay warm inside. So I'm gonna pause this, see if I can flip the video around, and I'll kind of show you what we've got. So I've got my heated water hose, and I've taken and I've wrapped the pipes, but then I took the couple of those insulated bags that you use for keeping things cold at the grocery store, and I've put 3 of them over the pipes, and there's some heat tape in there as well. And then we're running off the power box. We're utilizing the 30 amp that's in there from our camper as well, but we're taking the 30 amp and we're running an extension cord, and I've kind of set up a exactly where the wind is coming from, and it is brutally cold. And then I've also run an extension cord with a couple space heaters into the underbelly of the camper, and we'll just peek in here real quick. And so I've got a little one here where all my waters come in and connect. And yes, I'm using 2 water filters. I know it's not needed at all, but I needed this blue one to kind of get the thermostat for the heated water hose to go out. Otherwise it would have ended up in the underbelly. And so then back in here, and hopefully it won't be too dark, we've kind of been packing up, getting everything ready to go, but I've taken the panel out, and you're not gonna be able to see it, but I've got another space heater in there blowing some warm air into the underbelly, and it's on a thermostat also, so it doesn't sit and run if it's unnecessary. I'll go ahead and latch that. If you can kind of see on this side, the wind's not terrible, but it is blowing under the camper pretty hard. But it's kind of blocked and protected. If I move out here just a little bit, feel the snow falling. You can't. Visibility is really bad. And I'll show you the other side of the camper. Oh, I can't even open my eyes. Snow's starting to build up in the outdoor kitchen and on the backside where it's kind of taking the brunt of the angle of the wind. So we survived the blizzard. This was the coldest night, obviously the worst conditions so far that we've had to deal with. I think it got down to 17 degrees at one point, roughly around midnight. The water lines started to freeze up, and I didn't have any water in the camper, so I had to come out and try and figure out what it was. It was too dark for me to record any of it, but what it amounted to was, I'll show you, everyone, if I can get this here, that piece right there had gotten too warm because my space heater there got so warm in here that it was blowing too much hot air. So I stuffed a towel in there to keep the hot air from blowing down. I don't know if you can see that, but and then heating that up. So once I stuffed that towel in there to get the cold air off of it, I took a handful of snow and kind of put my hand over it and held it there until it cooled off again, and then miraculously, fortunately, that was exactly what the problem was, and not long after that, the hose heated back up. We have one of these heated hoses, and then I've got all that wrapped up, and so after that heated up, the water started flowing again. And so then the only other problem we had was I woke up about 5:30 this morning, and the back tank gray tank had filled up from leaving the water dripping, and was starting to fill in the sink. And so I came outside, dumped it, and everything's been good since. So nothing major. We made it through, and so now I'm not sure what the temperature is, but it's still pretty cold. And the boys were out playing in the snow earlier, and it didn't look like it was going to be much fun. It's not a fun snow, but we haven't had many snowy days in Kansas for them to learn the different types of snow that you can get. This would be good skiing snow, I would say, because it's very powdery. But we survived. Everyone is warm. It is unbelievably hot in the camper, so I guess that's a good thing, but it gets stuffy. So I'm outside cooling off a little bit, and I'll update later. So one of the other things that happened last night was we lost electricity for a few hours. Unfortunately, thankfully, the people that have that job, I could imagine. I mean, the wind was blowing. I think you had up to 50-mile-an-hour gusts. We're able to get power restored, but while we kind of sat through it waiting for it to come back on, what I did was to keep the furnace runs off the battery, and so I was able to hook up the extension cords to my truck and fire up the truck and keep the battery powered. So we had a little, we conserved lights, but we were able to keep the furnace going, and we were able to see until the power came back on. Unfortunately, it didn't take but just a few hours, and I got that fixed, and we were good to go. So just kind of updated that.